I hope everybody enjoyed their meal. And I really hope that you are ready to be inspired by our keynote speaker, Mary Petryszyn. Mary is Sector Vice President and General Manager of the Land and Avionics C4ISR Division for Northrop Grumman's Mission Systems Sector, with quite the fan club. In this role, she is responsible for leading the overall growth and program activities for the division, which serves warfighters and customers globally with situational understanding, survivability, and advanced warning mission solutions. As a life member of SWE, Mary has been a longtime supporter of our organization, who champions diversity and the empowerment of female engineers. We are fortunate to have her here today to discuss her journey and valuable lessons learned along the way in life, love, and leadership. Please, let's give Mary your undivided attention and help me welcome her to the stage.
Good evening. I'd like to talk with you all, or is that y'all here in Austin, this evening about life, love, and leadership. Anybody like music? For me, the connection of music is quite meaningful in life, love, and yes, even leadership. So I thought I'd use a little music to help me through my discussion. Will that work for everyone? Okay, let's start with life.
You know there's a light that glows by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip. And here's why: bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. Honor those that have come before you, and those that will follow behind. Let your gifts be your guide. Always stay humble and kind. When those dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget, turn back around and help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind.
We are shaped by our families, our friends, our experiences. For the most part, I grew up on a farm in upstate New York, one of 4 children, approximately in the middle-ish. Well, I learned that throwing hay bales and hoeing potatoes, and yes, shoveling manure, weren't my favorite things to spend my time doing. I also learned that hard work can yield some benefits. For one thing, I didn't have to go to the gym regularly to stay in shape and physically fit. Unfortunately, that's not the case today. I also learned early on that I do not like bees. They can sting you, and it can hurt. The sting of these little creatures can even do grave harm if you're allergic to them, which thankfully I'm not. I just don't like getting stung. As you can see here, when confronted with being stung, I chose to run away from a difficult situation. As you'll hear a bit later, I grew up to prefer running into difficult situations. I like challenges. Life is about learning. I am only one of the 4 children that, in my family to attend college. I received my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Any electrical engineers out there? And my master's in computer engineering. Good, I knew there'd be a few of you out there. Like many of you, I interviewed with a number of companies. I chose one that luckily chose me and began my career in the flight simulation business in my hometown in upstate New York. It was interesting and worthwhile problem-solving work, and within 7 to 8 years, I found myself in management. I moved from New York to Texas and continued through functional management jobs and software systems, products, moved into program management. I moved to Colorado and back into engineering management of a large region and then into profit and loss management, leading a business that spanned Rhode Island to California. I moved to jobs in Massachusetts, leading business development, strategy, mergers and acquisitions. I even lead international business, and now I lead a business focused on land and avionics systems based in Chicago. The point here is that all along the way, I moved, created outcomes, and learned. I solved problems. I won many. I lost a few. And most of all, I changed. I changed me, and I changed things around me. 13 years ago, on a frigid winter's day in Colorado, I was driving my car along the highway when I hit black ice. I had no control over my car as it crossed the median and oncoming lanes, rolled several times down the hill on the opposite side of the highway. My car settled upright, having expelled everything from within it except for me. I crawled out the passenger window and made my way up the hill where a passerby had watched what had happened and called 911. When I noticed that my car was still running, I tried to go back down the hill to turn off the engine. This guy stopped me and made me get in his car to warm up while we waited for the emergency responders. Yes, I was in shock. While at the hospital, having glass removed from cuts and x-rays for broken ribs, a state trooper came in to see me. He confirmed with me what had happened, and as he apologized, he gave me a ticket. It seems that state law in Colorado is that you must remain in control of your vehicle at all times. So what's my point? Sometimes, even though things happen that are beyond your control, you still pay the consequences. And I'm alive. I survived. Life. Incidentally, it was the best ticket I ever got. This accident also gave me a wake-up call. Things can change in a moment. It made me think about how easy it is to take those closest to you for granted. Just think about the time you spend irritated, angry, frustrated with people, and ranting about it. Compare that to the time you spend thanking those you love for listening, being there, standing by you through thick and thin, sick and sin, standing up for you. Life experiences lead to maturity, both personal and professional. We learn from our victories as well as our defeats. You get to decide the bounds that you put on yourself and that you are willing to push. Life is precious. The song Humble and Kind really resonates with me, especially the part, don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, remember, turn back around and help the next one in line. Stay humble, stay kind. That takes us to love.
When someone's all alone and standing on the edge, and somebody reaches out and pulls loves them in. Love wins. When someone's running out of places they can run, ashamed of their mistakes and things they've done. When someone opens up the door with open arms, says, come on in, love wins. Love is patient, love is kind. Love don't care who's wrong or right. It doesn't envy, it doesn't boast, it doesn't quit. It's not selfish, it's not proud. Love's the noise above the loud. It never fails, never forgets, and it forgives. Love wins. When we don't have to teach our kids that beauty's deeper than the skin, and peace on earth is more than just a wish. When we let each other pray in our own different ways, hold out our hands and open up our fists, love wins. Love wins. Love is patient, love is kind. Love don't care who's wrong or right. It doesn't envy, it never doesn't boast, it never quits. It's not selfish, it's not proud. Love's the noise above the loud. It never fails, it forgets and it forgives. Love wins. Love wins.
I'm thinking love in the broadest of terms here. There are really who, what, where, when, and why components of love. I believe love starts with acceptance of ourselves and who we are as human beings. One element of love is the people in our lives, of course. I was married to a great guy, incidentally also an engineer, for 14 years. I had wonderful life experiences and grew in many ways during that time. Even though that marriage ended, I have been fortunate to have maintained a valuable relationship, friendship with this man. Later, I discovered a new and surprising relationship that budded from friendship and respect to a strong love and partnership that makes me a better person every day. When Sandra and I decided to share our lives together, I had a wonderful feeling of completeness in my personal life. I will confess, this didn't carry over into my professional life right away. For quite some time, I didn't bring my whole self to work. I was afraid. My fear affected my ability to trust the people I worked with and to be authentically me at work. That's Basil. She adopted us. Interestingly, Sandra is one of the most fearless people I know. Taking a page from her book, I decided that for my life to have balance, I needed to share my authentic self at work. So I did. It was scary. I survived. And when I considered changing jobs to join my current company, Northrop Grumman, I shared my lifestyle during my final interview. I got the job. And I've been actually welcomed, to bring my whole authentic self to work. When someone opens up a door with open arms and says, come on in, love wins. That's Paul. He's a junior at Colorado State University. He's a math major. So I have the loves of my life, which makes me better. Love is part of our career choices, too, and the learning endeavors we undertake. Love what you do and who you do it with and for. I love this country freedom, like no other place in the world, really. I've spent my entire career in the defense industry. Defense continues to be more important than ever, and I've been fortunate to travel the globe. I've seen so many other cultures and ways of life, and I am humbled by the freedoms that we have here in the United States of America, and I'm honored to do what furthers our ability to preserve our freedoms and protect those who serve our nation and the allies around the world. I encourage you to do what you love and love what you do. I'm often asked what keeps me up at night. My advice to you is that if you find yourself being kept up, stressed out, consider if you love what you're doing. I had a colleague who introduced me to the alternative thought of doing what gets you up in the morning. I wonder, is there anyone from my company, Northrop Grumman, in the audience? I must thank you for allowing me to lead the work we do together. Thank you for who you are and what you stand for. By the way, we're hiring. Love plays a part in what we do in our spare time and where we go. It's a factor in the choices we make about who we spend time with. Love teaches the ultimate lessons about return on investment. We can only get in return the benefit of what we're willing to put in. And so, that brings us to leadership.
You're broken down and tired, living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the waves. I'll rise up, I'll rise through the egg. I'll rise up, and I'll do it all 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet, it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and you know you feel like dying. I promise we'll take the world at its feet and move mountains, take it at its feet and move mountains. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it all 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. rise through the air. I'll rise up. And I'll do it all 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. We'll rise up. Oh, we'll rise 1,000 times again, yeah. Oh, oh, we will rise.
Leadership. You may have heard the comparison of character versus reputation. It goes something like character is set by you. How you behave, what you say, the things you do, and your reputation is set by others. Those who interact with you and make an assessment of how that feels to them, repeat what they hear you say and what others say about you. Observe and interpret how you behave and your actions through their own lens. I'm particularly fond of Colin Powell's leadership lesson number 12. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. In this lesson, he discusses the ripple effect of a leader's enthusiasm and optimism. I think this relates to character. Why does this matter? Because your character is part of your brand. It's how you are and how you show up. You have the opportunity to make it intentional. For example, as leaders, we need people to trust us. To earn people's trust, we must necessarily be trustworthy. When we're able to count on ourselves, then others can count on us. If we seek accountability in our teams, we ourselves must be accountable. Keep the promises we make and create outcomes. My Aunt Rosella is a hero of mine. She spent her life running a lumber business. This is a tough job, let me tell you. The office, yard, and sawdust bins were open 6 days a week. The furniture factory Monday through Friday. The logging trucks showed up for unloading anytime, day and night. And she never missed a day, dedicated to serving her customers and employees. I remember spending summers working with her. Okay, I was mostly playing. But I did run over to the sawdust bins occasionally to collect the fee for a truckload of sawdust for her. Often that included some sort of homemade sausage or jam or other gift. People loved my aunt. Why? Because she made it personal. She was there for her customers. When a farmer was running late, she'd stay open until they got what they needed. When the maker of caskets needed a special delivery, she got it done. When she had a sick employee who was out on payday, she drove to their home to ensure they got paid. It was a different time then, no direct deposit. She taught me that true leaders never lose sight of the idea that they serve the people who work for and with them. People follow leaders who care for and respect them. It forms a foundation from which leaders can inspire others. I'm fond of the idea of capacity when I think about leadership. As you grow, your span of influence will increase, as well as your level of presence. As the song said, you can get tired of living on the merry-go-round if your capacity stays the same. For you to expand, to rise up, you must find in yourself the ability to include others. Leaders create a culture of inclusion. What do I mean? I'm sure it comes as no surprise that you are all here, part of SWE, part of this amazing cohort of technical and engineering people, because you have fundamentally chosen paths as problem solvers. Solutions are better when they take into account views from many dimensions and angles. For that to happen, we need to be inclusive of listening to the ideas of people who come at problems from various perspectives. Surround yourself with a diversity of everything that represents life. Have you ever had that moment when you were struggling with a challenging issue, a perplexing problem, and then out of seemingly left field, someone says something that reveals a path you would have never thought of, that suddenly a solution seems so clear and obvious, and it came from someone in a place or position completely unexpected? I have. I encountered a particularly difficult technical problem a few years back. I brought together a group of people from very different fields of expertise, levels of experience, and legacy parts of the business. It was interesting to watch the hardware people blame it on the software, the test people point to a poor design. One brave intern asked a question only to be schooled on how things had always been done. I listened, asked questions, let people talk. We decided to spend some time thinking and planned to get back together a couple days later. Imagine everyone's surprise, mine included, when my intern spoke up first and presented not only an idea to solve the problem, but had designed the solution already. Even more fascinating was watching the broad array of people each get their own aha moment. Inclusion can be a powerful thing, not just in leadership, but in everything. We have each other, and we will rise. So make inclusion a core personal principle. It will serve you well. And think about it. The power of the connections you've made here this week, the inclusive power of all of us can be so much more powerful than any one of us, which can allow you to be fearless.
Come here, put your hands together, let's party. Thank you. All right. All right. Can we start that over? Got everybody on board? Start that track again. All right. Keep it going. We're gonna party, guys. Here we go. I wake up, I feel it. Those fears are back again. Can't shake it, can't make them ever fade, ever end. Am I good enough? Do I measure up? Feels like a war I can't win. I wasn't given the spirit of fear, I was given the power of love. Everything I've been fighting for, I'm gonna lift it up, I'm gonna be fearless. No holding back, no backing down, fearless. Because I believe you're with me now. Bring on the unknown, lead me and I'll go. Come set me free, cause I'm gonna be fearless. I want to be fearless, yeah.
To sum things up, life, love, and leadership, these are inextricably linked. The elements that have shaped our lives, the sometimes broken roads that comprise our loves, and the experiences that create our leadership character and capacity are all intertwined and connected. They define who we are. Don't wait for that catastrophic or life-threatening event to happen to respect your life. The loves in your life are a treasure. Hold them dear. And don't look for the future in the past. Respect it, of course. Honor the past, but don't dwell there. Lead a new way of doing something, seeing something. Lead to a new future. Your future is what you choose. Leading is an honor, so do whatever you choose to do, authentically and completely. Before ending, I'd like to recognize and thank the fantastic musicians who helped me this evening. By workday, Joyce Isles is an administrative assistant and Frank Trimble is a systems engineer, both for Northrop Grumman.
Give it up for Mary, guys. Give it up.
As you can see, they're also extremely talented in additional ways. So thanks, Joyce and Frank. You're truly amazing. And thank you all for allowing me to share my stories, my truths, and my learnings about life, love, and leadership. I wish you all the best in your own journey. Be fearless.
I want to be fearless. I want to be fearless. Come on, party people, where you at? Bring on the unknown.
Enjoy the rest of Celebrate SWE.
Wow. That's one way to do a keynote, right? Yeah. Thank you, Mary. On behalf of the Society of Women Engineers and all those in attendance, thanks for sharing your incredible, entertaining, and inspiring stories. One more round of applause.